I'm about to de-influence you in roughly 8 minutes, and de-influencing isn't about not buying things, it's not about rejecting things when people are telling you to buy them, it's not about being an anti-consumer, it's actually about thinking whether or not buying something is in alignment with your own personal values and your own goals. And as someone who invested 6 figures by the age of 25, I made a conscious decision in my early 20s on what I wanted to spend my money on. We're constantly bombarded by messages, by products, by things that we should have by this age, and if you don't have it by this age, then you're behind or you're not cool. In today's video, I just wanted to have an honest conversation about influencing, money, navigating finances when you're a 20-something-year-old babe, and all the things that has helped me get to 6 figures at the age of 25. If you're interested, you know the drill. Stay tuned to the end of the video. As someone who thinks she successfully de-influenced herself, one of the first steps that I took in doing this was actually connecting with my core. I needed to understand what were the key things that mattered to me, and then it was important that I aligned my finances with those key things. And for the simplicity of this video, I'm going to touch on 3 core areas that I focused on. So the first was wealth building. It was really important to me as someone who didn't come from money that I spent the majority of my 20s trying to accumulate wealth so that when I did get to the latter part of life, I wouldn't be as stressed out when it came to money. The second was experiences. As I got older, I realized that I prioritize experiences over actual items. And the third is health and well-being. We will not be here if we don't prioritize our health. If I then go back to each of those individual buckets, when it comes to wealth building, since I identified that actually wealth creation was really important to me, I needed to ensure that every purchase I made was in line with wealth creation. So rather than buying a pair of Louboutins, even though I do have a pair, before I got the pair, I actually invested in my financial literacy. I read books, I listened to podcasts, I went to conferences where people who had the level of wealth that I aspired to have one day were speaking and were dropping gems on the different things that they did to get there. When it comes to meaningful experiences, rather than again purchasing a specific item, I will use that money to create an experience. And experiences to me aren't short-lived. When you buy an item, okay, you may get some form of gratification when you wear it, but when you have an experience and you look back at pictures or videos or you're talking to people about it, you get to relive those experiences again and again, even though that experience has only happened one time. For that reason, a lot of my spending didn't go towards things that people could see. It went towards experiences that actually people would know nothing about unless I shared it with them. And then the last one goes without saying, health and well-being, making sure that I'm eating as best as I can, I'm working out, etc. And I'll be so real, it can be really easy to experience FOMO, or to feel like you're behind, or to feel like you aren't experiencing life the same way other people your age are. I remember before I started traveling thinking, oh my goodness, maybe I am missing out on life because I haven't been to 10,000 countries by a certain age. One thing that I have found super helpful is revisiting my why on a regular basis. When you have your core, when you understand the bigger picture, going back to why you have made a specific decision at that moment in time helps to reaffirm that you are doing the right thing. The second thing is find a way to block out the noise. I am the queen of muting. If I feel like something is disturbing my peace or is making me second guess decisions that I've made, I will put the account on mute, or if I need to unfollow, I will unfollow. And I've tried to create my Instagram feed to be in alignment with the things that I like to see. So on my social media feed, and the social media algorithm will show me people who have done similar things to me. So actually seeing what it is that I'm trying to do has been super helpful in the moments where social media feels like you're behind. And one thing that I've noticed about social media is that you can subconsciously end up being a victim of lifestyle creep. And lifestyle creep is basically when you spend more than you actually have. You might go on a 5-star luxury holiday to Dubai, but you actually don't have the means to, or you've put it on a high interest credit card that is costing you an arm and a leg, when in actual fact a cheaper holiday, or just not going on a holiday at that present moment in time, may have been a better option for you. And lifestyle creep is called called a creep because it's subtle. You don't realize that you're doing it, but you are. And there are different things that I've done to help me not fall victim to lifestyle creep. So the first thing is I increase my investments with every raise. So at any point where I have increased, even if it's by a small increment, how much I've made, I will take a certain percentage, a fixed percentage, and I will invest that money. And even if I've only made an additional £100, I will still take that fixed percentage and I will invest it because I want to create the habit of constantly investing money. The second thing is creating a cap for your living expenses. Living expenses typically covers where you live, transport, and other essential expenses such as food, clothing. A cap simply means saying that all of those living expenses will equate to a certain percentage of how much you make. So you might say, actually, I want my living expenses to be equivalent to 50% of my salary. So if you make £2,100 a month, then your living expenses won't exceed £1,050 per month, for example. And the reason why capping it at percentage works, when you do increase your salary, because you've already capped your living expenses at a fixed amount, you have the difference in the additional income left over to invest and to do other things with that are in alignment with your own core values. And another thing that I do is budget for big expenses. Let's say you want to buy yourself a designer item, or you want to go on a luxurious holiday to treat yourself because you worked super hard in a year. Rather than spending that amount of money in one go, you can create a pot and you can allocate a certain amount of money every single month. So because you have a pot for it, you can just use money from that pot and you're less likely to take money from other pots and spiral into uncontrolled spending habits. So here's a tip that you can try to de-influence yourself the next time you think you're about to fall prey. And this tool is known as the 30-day rule. And the 30-day rule, simply put, is if you see an item that has popped up on TikTok or Instagram that's super trendy, rather than buying it in the moment, you pause and you wait for 30 days and you decide after the 30th day whether or not you want to buy it. And during that 30-day time frame, you think about the following things. So 1, do I truly need this? 2, is it going to add any value to my life? Would I buy it if nobody else owned it? And what people tend to find is after the 30 days, the excitement of that item tends to fade, or they realize that actually owning that item isn't of benefit to them, and so they don't purchase it. And this practice actually helps you to reduce the number of impulse purchases that you make. It helps you focus on intentional spending, and it helps you build on another concept known as delayed gratification, which has been linked to success in loads of different areas of life. And the reason why delayed gratification and the 30-day rule are interlinked is because both of these things shift your mindset from focusing on the now and actually focusing in the long term. And that brings me to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Comment below other de-influencing hacks that you have tried, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!